Europe finance markets include been hit by policy coup in Italy. Italy's standard FTSE MIB sank 2.7%. The UK's FTSE was downward 1.2%, Germany's DAX downward 1.3%, and France's CAC downward 2%. And the sell-off in Italian ties deepened, in the give on couple-year obligation break via the 2% obstacle. The give on the ties is set for its largest a-day leap in 26 years. Movements in ties prices are essential as they influence the price of loan for the by the government. Italy's obligation now stands at 130% of its economical exit. The ties sale-off hit the stake cost of Italian banks vulnerable to by the government obligation, in Intesa Sanpaolo, BPER Banca, Unicredit and UBI Banca declining dramatically. Meantime the pot European Stoxx 600 bring down 1.6%, in banks the lowest performing shares, and the euro bring down versus the buck and pound. Which is Italy's policy meltdown all on. The confusion was besieged following the against establishment 5 celebrity and league policy parties neglected their attempts to shape a governing coalition following a confrontation in CEO Sergio Mattarella. He had vetoed their selection of a Eurosceptic economics secretary, and equipped ex-World Cash Foundation formal Carlo Cottarelli as intermediate main secretary in the problem of hard to shape a by the government. But his period is potential to be cut brief, as he will nearly surely miss a parliament voice of trust. If he does, later new elections would quickly pursue. How bad is the finance position in Italy? Down there is no issue how the policy meltdown has led finance marketplace investors to magistrate how the risks include enlarged noticeably. The growth in Italian by the government ties yields has been really abrupt and tells us how down there is enlarged anxiety on the worldview. But we not yet at low, everywhere close the levels of finance distress how were obvious in the spike of the Eurozone finance meltdown in 2011-12. At the period down there was an unofficial guideline of big toe occasionally utilized, how countries were potential to requirement a rescue if the give on their 10-year ties, substantially the yearly price of loan cash for 10-year, was supported at more than rather than 7%. Italy did hit how standard brief in how overseen. But he's now about 3% high rather than it was, but not yet blinking scarlet. 5 celebrity and the league won 33% and 17% of votes accordingly in March's poll, and could growth their combination most in a new domestic survey. We've seen a cliff sail off in hazard holdings as the Italian policy twists intensify, in investors outwardly price dumping their exposition to Italy, told Neil Wilson, head analysis for This Moves the Night Order focus as we are vision several unbelievable cost activity in Italian ties in the marketplace driving at speeds not seen with the lowest of the Eurozone obligation meltdown. This big issue is if the is fair an Italian issue or one how risks considerable shed over in the otherwise of Europe. Italian papers forecast how Carlo Cottarelli will include a hard period shaping a by the government, and how one day in force he will fight to perform his plans. The Left Manifest paper says, it is not lightweight to discover human beings prepared to remain in the by the government for several months, out of confidence in Parliament, and crucified by the two powerful parties prepared to outdoor flame. The centrist Everyday Corriere della Sera suggests how Mr. Cottarelli will be a stable brush at the tire, in marketplace water how pledged to be coarse, but how it will be hard for him work since he will be a main secretary out of confidence.